Okay, recording. Good evening, everybody. This is, I see Ann Sprunger is joining us. Thank you, Ann. I am Ray Anderson, Vice President of People's Food Co-op Board of Directors, and also Chair of the Linkage Committee. As the Linkage Committee, we are hosting virtual conversations with our recipients of our Change for Community Roundup at the Register. And tonight's guest is Ava Olgren, who is the Development Associate from the Corner Health Center in Ypsilanti. Ava, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we're really interested and anxious and to hear all the good work that you guys do over there.
Well, thank you so much, Ray. And just thank you to everyone for having me tonight, and also for accepting the Corner to be participant in this event this month. That's wonderful. And it's just great that you do this for the community and different nonprofits in the area. It's really awesome. So I do have a presentation that I'm going to go over, and then please interrupt as needed. Ray likes to ask questions after, but I ask questions as you need, and then afterwards we'll also ask some more if there are any needing clarification or anything. So I will go ahead and share my screen. There we go. Everyone can see that? Great, thank you. So the Corner Health Center, this is just a lovely picture of the outside of the building. It is located on North Huron Street in Ypsilanti. So when you come off of 94, you drive straight past it. It's right across from the Riverside Art Center as well as the park. And it's located very close to the bus station as well, which is very convenient for a lot of our patients who do take public transportation. The Corner's mission is to inspire 12 to 25-year-olds and their children to achieve and sustain healthy lives by providing judgment-free, affordable health and wellness care and education. We want to set our patients up to have the most successful futures that they can. This is just a little bit of statistics from our 2018-2019 annual report. Just a little bit about who we serve. And that year we served about over 1,500 patients and their children, and that equated to almost 6,500 visits. So some people might be coming in for multiple visits, whether that's for immunizations, maybe during prenatal visits and postnatal visits. So that might have them come in for more than one appointment rather than just their annual physicals. 65% were women, 30% men, and 5% were non-binary. 15% of our patients were transgender, including non-binary, and 70% of our patients were ages 18 to 25. In 2014, we expanded from serving patients from 12 to 21 to 12 to 25. And we actually realized that those ages from 21 to 24 were really needed a place that they felt safe to come to for their healthcare, and so a lot of our patients are within that age range. And so we're really thrilled that we were able to expand. 16% of our patients were 12 to 17, and 14% of our patients were 0 to 11, which means they were children of our patients. So we do see a lot of, we're not a pediatric focused exactly, but we do a lot of pediatrics for the children of our patients. 45% of our patients were Black or African American, 42% were white, 8% Asian, Native, Arab, and other, and then 5% decided not to disclose that information, and 9% were Hispanic and Latinx. Some of the services that we provide, and this is based off of the diagnosis, 27% mental and behavioral health, and that's something that we've really been focusing on lately, especially with the pandemic and everything. 21% of our visits were sexual and reproductive health, so that'll include STI tests, pregnancy tests, and prenatal and birth control as well. And then we had 21% was obstetrics. So that is our prenatal and postnatal visits. And then we have 12% were well child checks and physicals, making sure they're doing their just upkeep of their general health. 20% were sick visits, and currently with COVID, we are not doing sick visits. And so this year that number might be a bit different, but 8% was gender affirming care as well. So that's the HRT, the hormone replacement therapy. At the last day or last Tuesday of every month, we have a transgender clinic where patients start their hormone replacement therapy and get all the information about that. And it's a really successful program. So we distributed over 1,500 immunizations, did over 600 physicals, 340 pregnancy tests, only 33 of those were positive. So we do have a lot of youth coming in who are worried. They might have had a late period for whatever reason, and they are concerned. And so we are always there to provide that care for them, do that test for them, and provide them with a little bit of education so that they can just be eased a little bit and not worry, and so that they know how to move forward in a way that they feel safe. 818 STI tests and 352 HIV tests in 2019. So it was a busy year. Some of the services, we really focus on judgment-free. We don't discriminate for any reason on any identity, protected or otherwise. And we don't turn anyone away. We are not a free clinic. We do charge insurance and we bill insurance, but we are not going to turn anyone away regardless of their ability to pay. We work with people on sliding fee scales and have some funds to be able to provide the best care to each person that comes in the door. And we do focus on inclusion, diversity, equity, and access as well. So some of our general services that we kind of reviewed in the with looking through the annual report information: physicals, vaccinations, mental health programs, counseling, reproductive health, OBGYN, pediatrics, diet and nutrition support, and hormone replacement therapy. We do reproductive care, so birth control. We speak with the patients about the best birth control that'll fit with their lifestyle. And we make sure to take that time to talk with them, educate them, and kind of see what would be the best fit. And we recently did a push and started a fund for, to be able to provide LARC, so long-acting removable contraceptions for our patients who maybe don't have insurance or can't afford it. So that would be things like IUDs, arm inserts. They have implants as well, and they can provide birth control for 3 to 12 years, depending on what kind they get. And it's removable, and it's one of the safest and most reliable types of birth control. So depending on the person, but we wanted to be able to provide that to anyone who comes in, because if you buy it without insurance, it's about $800, and not everybody can afford that. If someone has insurance, it's normally covered, but if they don't, it's not. So we have a fund to provide that to patients, so that if that's the best form, they don't have to turn away from that. They can receive that type of birth control. We do pregnancy testing, and we do prenatal care. We also have some doulas who work with us to provide that service to some of our patients as well, if they choose to. And so we work to educate them on what doulas do to support the mothers, and maybe some of our young mothers don't have the same support that others might. And so that doula is there to walk them through, calm them down, educate them, and just really be an advocate for that new mom while they're giving birth. And they do before they did home visits after too, to make sure everything was going well at home after the baby came home. And then we also have MIHP, which is the Maternal Infant Health Program. It is an integrative healthcare we have for our our moms. We have nurses, we have therapists, and we have nutritionists all working together to provide the moms with the best care when they're going into their pregnancy. For pediatric care, we have well child checks, sick visits that we do for our patients' children. And then we have mental health and behavioral health care. So we have counseling, we have licensed therapists, we have psychiatry, a psychiatrist who comes in to review meds and do diagnosis. And then we also have mental wellness programs. And one of them is Mood Lifters, and there's a little bit of information about that on another slide. So we do have some supportive services as well. So those were all of the healthcare services that we offer to our patients. And then we have a lot of supportive services as well, involve education and making sure that our patients have all of the resources that they need to be successful. So this is Mom Power. It is currently on hold because it is an in-person program. It's a really wonderful 10-week parenting program that we can't wait to get started again once it is safe to do so. And it takes place at the Corner. It is led by one of our therapists, Nicole Bongers. And the new moms get to come and meet other moms. They receive lunch when they are there, and they receive childcare as well. So the moms can really focus on what the topics that they want to talk about, maybe just some struggles that they're having or a success that they had, or share advice and just really connect with other moms. And they learn parenting tools and skills to help with the stress of being a parent. They have an opportunity to win items too and earn free things and different activities that they do. And we do provide transportation for that. If they cannot get there, we will send an Uber or a Lyft, and we will make sure that they are able to get there safely. So before we talked about, I mentioned Mood Lifters. It is one of our services we also offer, and it's a 15-week mental wellness program. And we went through it with the staff as well. It is available to anyone over the age of 18 through the University of Michigan. But here we do it for 18 to 25-year-olds, and anyone can join from the community. They don't have to be a current patient. But it's kind of, when we went through it, it's kind of like a Weight Watchers idea of getting points. And so 1 week you might discuss sleep. And so you talk about ways to better your sleep, maybe sleep with your phone outside of the room, you get a point. Sleep in a cooler environment, you get a point. Get full 8 hours of sleep, you get a point. So you're trying to reach those points, and you build each week too. So one's sleep, one is apologies, one is positive emotions, one is negative emotions, and relationships. And so each week is something different, and you just keep building off of that, and you earn your points. And so just doing these positive things for yourself and kind of changing the way that you're thinking a little bit over these 15 weeks is really, improves mood and decreases stress that they have found. So it's a really great program that we're able to offer our patients. So we also have the Corner Store. It is located in our basement of the building, and it is a food pantry. We have personal care items. Some of the pictures over on the right are at the top were some of our doulas who are now moving on to nursing school, but they hosted a baby shower for the Corner, and we were able to, they collected a lot of items, and we were able to distribute the baby baths, the books, the clothing, all of the things to our patients. And everything is free of charge. But we get all our food from Food Gatherers. So patients, when they come in, and anyone in the community, ages 12 to 25, can come in and access our food pantry anytime that we're open. We don't currently, because of COVID, have people going into the store, but we still have sheets that patients and anyone coming in can circle the items that they want, and a staff or volunteer will fill those for them. We also have household items like comforters and pillows and blankets that are donated to us, and everything is new as well. We don't take used items, but we have toys that they can come and get, clothing, and it says on here available with points. And so during non-COVID times again, we have a points that when people come in, to encourage our patients to come in and show up for their appointments, they'll get a stamp for 10 points, and they can use those in the store for anything that they want. Food is never pointed, it's always free. But they can collect those points, and a couple visits get a comforter, or one visit get a piece of clothing, smaller things like that. And so it's encouraging people to stay up on their healthcare and come do their annual visits and stay on top of it. And so if anyone is interested in doing a drive or anything like that, food, clothes, you can contact me after this, but I do those sorts of drives. We also have educational programs and different events throughout the year, and they're for 12 to 25-year-olds. Anyone in the community, they don't have to be patients normally, but we do cooking classes. We've had financial classes. We've had people come in and help with taxes. We've had someone come in and do self-defense classes. We have sexual abuse support groups, birthing classes, parenting programs. This year, our summer program looked a little bit different, and it was all virtual. And they met in the park once a week, in Riverside Park, and they did social distance events like kicking a ball to each other. They did socially distanced yoga, different things like that, but they did virtual cooking classes as well. And some of the youth had a lot of fun with that. We also right now have a mental health series going on that is sponsored by Ford Motor Company Fund. And that is a virtual event for November's was about suicide prevention. And this month is about seasonal depression and how the different seasons of the year will affect your mood and kind of how to work through that. So that is next week. So if you know anyone who's interested, 12 to 25, they can sign up for that event, and it's really great. And they receive gift cards for coming, and we have therapists on. They just start different chats. We have videos, and it's very engaging for anyone who joins. They've all really enjoyed it. So our education and outreach, we do peer education. We have our theater troupe peer education program, and during normal years, they will go into schools and perform and do peer education through skits, and they'll do presentations on performances on HIV prevention, depression, relationships, like what a healthy relationship looks like, and they act these out. And then after the performance, they stay in character, and the audience can ask questions to them, and they'll stay in their character to answer all of these questions. There's always our health educator there to answer questions that they can't, but they are trained to ask or answer the most common questions that people might ask. And then they'll come out of their character and they'll answer questions again. And the good thing about staying in character is someone can say, well, why were you so mean to that person? And within the skit, and they can kind of describe that and the experiences that they felt during that skit. And then last but not least, we have our Youth Leadership Council, also open ages 12 to 25. And they meet weekly right now. It's all virtual, but they are a group of youth who they want to make changes in the community, and they want to get together to make those changes. And so they do programs to raise awareness in the community about health topics. We go to them for if we're going to be changing anything and how it would affect them as youth in the community, and kind of get their input. They are the youth input of the corner. Because we, at the corner, all of our therapists and all of our providers are focused on youth and know a lot about them, but they are no longer youth. And so that's where we turn to the YLC to get their views on things and their ideas and their voices for different programs that we might have, or changing, if we change anything too. So that is the gist of the corner and what we do. There's lots of things that I'm sure that I skipped over, or, you know, little things that we're doing here and there. But do you have any questions for me? Ray, you are muted right now.
Where does all your funding come from? Like, do you get food from like food gatherers and?
Yep, so we get all of our food from food gatherers and some donations. We get funding from Michigan Medicine. We get funding through COFU, so the coordinated funders, some local foundations as well, and some state funding too.
So there's no like Medicaid or Michigan funding that comes from the state?
I believe there's some funding that comes from the state, and then through Medicaid that comes through billing to Medicaid.
I'm pretty impressed with what you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is such a wide variety of supports. I'm so glad I was here tonight to learn more. It's much broader than I expected. It's exciting to partner with you this month.
Yeah, thank you. A lot of times people come and they're like, oh, you just do healthcare, right? STI checks. And actually, we do all of these other things. We have food pantry, you know, we have programs, we have self-defense classes. We are there, and it's wonderful because it's an integrated healthcare system. So the therapists are right there. We have a social worker of the day who is called in for any sort of mental health issue that arises during the day, and they can go in and speak with that patient right there if there's any concerns, or they can, you know, set them up with therapy on the spot. And it's really a wonderful integrated care that we can provide that's very unique to just to a healthcare center in general, because usually you have to schedule an appointment with somebody else, but you know, they're all there. And we have our providers who work at St. Joe's and U of M that come in, and we have specialties like allergy comes in every once in a while. You know, our pediatric doctors, our psychologists who comes in every once in a while, and there's specialty providers who come in to provide that care to our patients at the corner, so they don't have to go to U of M separately, they don't have to go to St. Joe's separately, they can still get that care at the corner.
I would imagine it's a fairly safe place for them compared to other places they might have to go if they didn't have you.
Yeah, we really strive to make sure that our patients, that we provide a judgment-free environment. We want them to come to us with anything. We want them to be able to talk to us about anything. And when they're in the waiting room, they see other people like them. They're not going to run into their, you know, grandma's friend who's going to maybe say something. There's other people their age and with young kids. And so they're seeing themselves there. It's not, you know, someone who they're like, oh, they're going to, you know, maybe say something. It's a very safe environment that we provide for our patients.
Is there anything that, I mean, I grew up with a place very similar to this where I lived. It was a low income area, but we had this place called Taylor Teen Health Center, which was all encompassing, very similar to what you guys have. But currently, I know you guys are taking donations for food and all those other things. Is there anything that you know, need the most that we can kind of canvas for you as far as donations and like stuff go, like masks or anything like, because I know this is a new thing, the pandemic is, so.
Yeah, it was pretty wild at the beginning, but you know, the Ypsilanti community really came together, and people were making homemade masks for us and donating them by the bagfuls, and we were able to give our patients cloth masks when they were coming in at the beginning. Now most everybody knows that they have to come in with a mask, so they're prepared. But at the beginning, we were able to hand out masks to our patients and everything. So we are set on masks right now, but like ongoing things that we always need are things like diapers. Diapers are wildly expensive and kids go through them so quickly. So like diapers and wipes, things like that, especially the like larger sizes, 5s and 6s for diapers for the kids and patients coming in. Because, you know, the last thing we want is for a parent to wait to change their child's diaper and then maybe they're sitting in a wet diaper for a while and that causes its own health issues. So we want our parents to be able to change diapers whenever they need to, and we provide that in our corner store. And we also have a diaper shelf upstairs in our in the clinic so that parents can, you know, get diapers as they need. And then also things like personal care items. We're always going through personal care items. In the store, we provide like full-size shampoos, conditioners, we also try to always carry natural hair care products. As you saw, a majority of our patients are African American, and so we want to be respectful of that and also carry the items that they need. And so we carry natural hair care products. We try to always carry like baby lotions and shampoos and feminine care products, so pads and tampons and toothbrush and kids toothpaste and, you know, everything that somebody might need in their bathrooms, we try to provide for them and they can pick up when they get anything from the corner store. So I would say those are ongoing things that we always need. Thank you for asking.
Mm-hmm. So when before COVID, what percentage of home visits were you doing, or site visits were people doing, the caregivers or doctors, therapists? What
Are you saying like that they go to their homes?
Yes.
We don't do that. There might be a time, like a special occasion, that maybe a doula goes to a new mom's home, right? Like the day after or a couple days after they've given birth, if they need help with breastfeeding, but that we don't do home visits.
Okay.
But since the pandemic happened, we did very quickly transition into telehealth visits. So we do telehealth visits now. That wasn't really offered before, but we do that now, and it's probably something that we will continue even after the pandemic, because, you know, sometimes patients miss their appointments for any reason, and we've been able to do an appointment while somebody is at work on break. You know, that they wouldn't have been able to do that before. They would have had to miss their appointment.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that really opens up availability to provide that service to our patients to make sure they get that care.
Mm.
So it looks like you don't do drug and alcohol work. Do you refer those issues to another place?
We do some of that at the corner. We have Smart Recovery that I will be adding to this after our meeting today. So thank you for bringing that up. We have a Smart Recovery program that is an addiction program. It's not specific to any sort of addiction. It is open to patients to come in and we meet them where they are. They don't have to be completely clean or off or anything like that. They can come in wherever they are and they discuss, you know, issues that they might be having and kind of move through that. So we do have a few programs that we work with that, and then there may be some other places that are suggested that they go to, because we don't do anything like Dawn Farm does with rehab and things like that, but we do have some
Or
programs to
Ozone
try to
House.
support our patients. Pardon me?
Or Ozone House?
We work very closely with Ozone House. Yep, very closely.
Any other questions?
These have been really great questions.
Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you for your time tonight. You put together an amazing presentation. I've learned so much more about the corner than I knew before. As I said to you when we conversed by telephone, I go drive by the corner quite often because my son lives in Ypsilanti and I'm going to the hardware store. But it's a really a great place to know and recommend to the community your good work. So
Well, thank you so much. Yes.
Are you guys still doing volunteers for like your pantry and stuff, or how is that working now during this time?
So we do have volunteers. We did suspend our volunteer program for a short period or a couple of months at the beginning of COVID. And then once, certain precautions were set in place, we started bringing volunteers back. Our volunteers who work in the store are in the store on their own, so it's a really safe environment for social distancing. It promotes it perfectly. And so we do have volunteers coming into the building still. We have 3 currently that come in and help out in the store, keep things organized, fill those store runs when needed, so filling those orders and everything. And they help with other little tasks too. So we do have volunteers still coming in. So if anyone's interested in volunteering, I'm also the volunteer coordinator. So they can always contact me as well. And there's an application on our website too about volunteering.
okay, excellent.
I have one more question.
Yes.
Do you only accept donations through food gatherers?
That is where we get the majority of our food. We accept food donations from, like, if somebody wanted to do a food drive, then we accept those as well. But as a bulk majority of our food, we do receive that from food gatherers. They're our main partner. I would say 98% of our food comes from them. They're a great partner.
Mhm.
We
Well-
also work with them too, so.
Wonderful. Yeah, they're great.
Well, if there's no other questions, this has been great, Ava. Thank you for your time tonight.
And
Yeah,
feel free to
thanks
reach
so
out if you have
much.
any
This was
questions.
Really, really good stuff to know.
Great. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
if you ever, meet anyone who needs our services, 12 to 25, we're here for everyone and anyone, and, just to provide that safe place for them to come. So you can always send them our way. And we don't specifically serve like Washtenaw County. We serve anyone. We have people come from Jackson. We have people come from farther away for the specific services that we do provide. So we're not only in this area, we expand too.
Mm. Excellent.
Well, thank you so much for partnering with us on this. We really appreciate it and look forward to it.
Absolutely. Well,
Thanks
thank
a
you.
lot.
Have a good evening, Ava.
Thank you.
You guys are
Have a
doing
great
great
evening.
work.
Thanks.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Are we all set?